Hi guys, my name's Kuldip Randhawa. I was falsely investigated in April 2005 by APEGBC for a water tank that was not even built. This was a crime by the Engineering Association working with other people, other institutions that are all involved in collusion, and they actually have committed serious crimes against a professional. And to conceal that problem, they actually continue with the fraud in different ways. One of those issues is they declare a person to be vexatious, which basically means that the person is an idiot, he doesn't understand anything, and an engineer with 3 decades of experience and 2 degrees knows nothing. Well, I can tell you I know quite a bit. So why am I making this video? It's all to do with fake news. We've had a president who has just been removed who was talking about fakeism and the media not reporting these issues. I am now an activist and I'm protesting and I'm reaching out to everyone that can listen to this story about how to do an effective protest. When you have effective protest, you must have a plan. If you do not have a plan and you simply repeat the same protest and you don't reach out and people become frustrated and angry, and each one who's coming there to the protest, you end up making a different agenda each time, then you lose focus of what is really needed here. Having a protest, there's 5 steps, and I'm creating an article on that so that it can be sent out to a number of protest groups who are doing hard work towards making the public alert of what's really taking place. The reason why we have a protest is because the media has primarily failed. They've failed in numerous ways and they've been failing for a long time. The primary reason is that the truth is being withheld. And the reasons could be numerous, but when you have a media that does not cover the news, then you have a serious issue. Because in a democracy, it's important that people tell the truth, the whole truth, so that the public can be made aware, and then matters can be resolved in the court system. But when no one is going to report it and misinformation is spread out, there's organizations out there that are actually disrupting a good cause. And so you must have at least some sense to understand that there must be a focus on the protest. The evidence of whatever you're protesting about has to be provided through leaflets, through articles, through reports. Simply protesting out there, standing on the side of the highway or the street is not going to be effective. All that results in is a few horns being made. The public is generally quite aware of what's going on. The issue is a lot of public are suppressed and oppressed. They do not come forward. They need that little bit of a pinch, so the protest is good in that way of awakening, giving people some hope that there's guys out there doing something and bringing about a positive change. But the media has to be involved in this process. If they're not coming, there's a reason for it. So there's 4 things I want to talk about in the media. And most people will not talk about this, but I think it's necessary now, especially in Canada, which claims to be number 2 on the world stage in terms of human rights, but I think that is way, way overrated. When the media does not tell the entire truth, they're actually doing what's called propaganda. They have an agenda. That agenda is to provide support to some group that is paying or supporting them. So they're not being impartial to the media and the information that needs to be reported. Propaganda is always about having a certain agenda so that the public can be deceived in such a way that they may perhaps vote for a certain party as opposed to voting for another party. And so that is where the media is actually interfering with the democratic process. There's serious implications to that if it can be proven that the media is actually interfering with democracy. The second is news, which is what I call breaking news. Everybody knows what breaking news is. Breaking news is something really hot and the public needs to be told, and something serious has happened. There's a bridge collapse, so it's breaking news. But sometimes there's other news that needs to be told, which becomes breaking, but the newspapers and the media are investigating it. if they have a proper investigation team. So it's not breaking news for the people who are creating the story. It's breaking news for the public. But when someone wants to air a story and political influence takes place, then the politicians are interfering with the media and the free press. And so the media has a responsibility to make sure that the politicians do not interfere with what needs to be reported and told to the public. Your primary duty is to tell the public the truth, and that is not being done. And there's a third type of news, which is kind of something new. It's breaking news in itself. It's called suppressed news. This is news which is clearly known to the media. They know there's a crime taking place. They know someone has committed a murder, or they know that this person is innocent of a crime and is sitting in jail, or is an engineer and he knows that this tank was not even built, and so he's appealing to the media constantly for over 10 years. And they know the truth. They know what's happening, and they don't report it. It's called suppressed news because you know the truth, but you're suppressing it. And when you do that, there's a serious legal implication. That implication is this, that as the media, you have this thing called freedom of the press. If you have the freedom of the press and you don't exercise that right of yours, you may lose it to such a point that newspapers and some media channels may end up losing their license because you're not exercising your rights of free press, which is given to you under law. And therefore, if you can't even follow that, then what's the purpose of you guys even having a media? And so therefore, this is why protest has to take place, and whatever is happening here in Canada has to be corrected immediately. I'm appealing to all the politicians. I'm appealing to some of those judges in the court system who know what's happening. And if you're in a conflict of interest and you've decided on something and you've made some mistakes or you made some intentional errors, the best thing to do is remove yourself and move on. Because you should not be in the position of a judge if you're in a conflict of interest. An engineer has a duty under ethics to report and tell the truth. I think the legal profession is in so much in disrepute that now you've started to corrupt other professions. It needs to stop. I will not allow it. I'm going to do my utmost best to put an end to that. And so for the media out there, get involved and do your job, and don't ignore me, because you've ignored so many people and I'm being hurt by your actions, and that could be a claim in the future. The fact that I haven't done it yet doesn't mean to say that I won't do it in the future, but I'm exposing new crimes that were never in existence and never in realization before. But this country is on a serious problem. It needs to address its problems very quickly and treat everyone equally. With that in mind, I think I've said enough. I hope the media will respond. Thank you.